We condemn such attacks unreservedly, and we acknowledge the Chinese authorities' right and duty to protect all individuals against violence. However, Amnesty International is concerned.
A distinguished representative of China, you have a point of order.
Thank you, Mr. President. Also, I don't like to repeat what I have said, but still I'm forced to repeat what I have said, and to repeat as you just have already clarified. This is a general item. This is a general debate on the item 8. As you just clarified, no speaker should selectively select one issue and comment only on one issue. Thank you, Mr. President.
To send a fact-finding mission by the relevant special procedure mandates to ascertain the grounds, situation, and to report back to the Council.
Thank you, sir. I'm afraid your time is up. Distinguished delegate of China, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for stopping his remarks as to safeguard the reputation of this Council, and has to safeguard the principle of this Council, as to safeguard authority of the rules or procedures of this Council, which all of us should abide by. Thank you, Mr. President.
The Sharia, therefore, fails to honour the right to equality guaranteed under the UDHR and the international covenants, and denies the full enjoyment of their human rights to those living in states which follow Sharia law.
I have to interrupt you, sir, again. We have 2 points of order from the distinguished representative of Pakistan and then from the distinguished representative of Egypt.
It is insulting for our faith to discuss Sharia here in this forum. So I would appreciate if the distinguished representative of an NGO be asked to limit his comments on human rights declaration and human rights instruments and not on Sharia. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The distinguished representative of Egypt, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. In light of your previous intervention, sir, I would leave it to you, to your Excellency, with all due respect, to decide if the statement is proceeding in the right direction or not. Sharia is not under discussion here, and I don't think it is a universal document that should be discussed in the Human Rights Council.
The next representative of United Nations Watch.
Thank you, Mr. President. We strongly support renewing the mandate against racism. We wish to address the draft resolution that is before us. For me, the issue of racism is not academic. My parents survived the Nazi Holocaust. 80 of my relatives were murdered. Mr. President, I know what racism, hatred, and anti-Semitism can lead to. What began with racist words ended with genocide. The United Nations and its Commission on Human Rights were created to prevent such evil from ever happening again. Tragically, however, it has happened in Cambodia, Rwanda, and today in Darfur. Equally, the evil of anti-Semitism continues to rear its ugly head, and it is rightly addressed in the proposed resolution.
I have a point of order raised by the delegation of Egypt. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. We would just like to ascertain if this discussion we're having on the review, rationalization and improvement of the mandate pertains to that very subject, or the discussion on potential human rights situations and violations in some parts of the world. Thank you.
I think that we are in agreement that we are talking about a review, rationalization and improvement of the mandate at hand, and that consequently we are entitled to hear to arguments and reasonings concerning how, why, or why not some action is carried out concerning this mandate. I would urge consequently delegations to focus on this target when they take the floor, and thank them beforehand. Please, you may continue, Madam.
Thank you. I wish to address what the mandate should cover, because it is rightly addressing the situations that I have already covered. There are many examples of anti-Semitism. Iran's President Ahmadinejad actively promotes Holocaust denial and calls for the elimination of the Jewish state. We salute the expert on racism for condemning this. Hamas and Hezbollah, however, systematically promote the same kind of genocidal anti-Semitism in their sermons.
Excuse me, madam. There is a point of order raised by the delegation of Iran.
Thank you, Mr. President. As far as I understand, as you rightly mentioned, the topic under consideration is the improvement, review, rationalization, and improvement of the mandate of the Special Rapporteur on Racism. I kindly request you to draw the attention of the Speaker to the topic under consideration. I thank you.
Thank you. So, for and due regard of respecting you all, I'm not going to repeat what I've said. So please, I kindly invite speakers to focus on the matter at hand precisely. You have the floor, madam.
Organizations such as Stand With Us are doing vital work to educate against hatred. But in the UN and all nations gathered here must do more to fight words that kill. At Durban in 2001, a conference meant to combat racism saw some of the worst displays of anti-Semitism since the Holocaust. Leaflets were distributed with Hitler's picture calling for the destruction of Israel. As this Council prepares the 2009 follow-up conference, its noble goals must not be hijacked by the forces of intolerance. Nations must rise to defeat words that kill. For all these reasons, we support a strong mandate to combat racism. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.